Last year on December 14th, 2025, Patrick Mahome suffered an ACL and an LCL injury against the Chargers. But today on Friday, July 24th, 2026, about 8 months later, he got cleared to come back to full participation. This would be an amazing recovery if that's the case, but I keep on thinking in the back of my head, is this a good thing? Is he coming back too soon? Well, I wanted to look up the answer, and it comes from 3 factors that we need to find out. The type of surgery that he had, some background on the Chiefs medical staff, and some previous NFL ACL injury rehabs to kind of compare against. So first, the type of surgery. Now, when you tear your ACL, most people go through reconstruction surgery. There's 2 main types of reconstruction surgery that we normally see. The first is an allograft. This is where the torn ACL is taken out and then replaced with a foreign tendon, oftentimes coming from a deceased cadaver. The other type of surgery is an autograft, where instead of taking it from somebody else's body, you are taking tissues from your own body to replace your torn ACL. So there's a couple different common types. You can have the quad patella tendon, the patellar tendon, or a hamstring tendon. Now, we don't know exactly what type of reconstruction surgery Patrick Mahomes had, but we do know that he got reconstruction surgery the next day on December 15th, where he flew down to Texas to get operated by Dr. Dan Cooper. And in an interview, Dr. Cooper suggests that there's different types of repairs and reconstructions for the specific purpose that the individual needs. But in the case of an athlete like Patrick Mahomes, he said this.
And so I try to filter it and just go through categories with patients, and I try to match the graft for the patient. And young athletic kid under 25, the failure rate of allografts or cadaver grafts is way higher. Patellar tendon, that goes from your kneecap down to your tibia, right in the front of your knee. That's a big, strong tendon. You can take about 1/3 of it without really any long-term adverse impact. It's an excellent graft. It's really strong. It's really stiff. You can fix it really rigidly.
So out of all the options, we would choose this one right here. Now, this is just the ACL side and something that I'm primarily going to focus on for the rest of this video, but I do want to acknowledge that he did also tear his lateral collateral ligament as well in this injury. When you have multiple tears in the same ligament, that has cascading effects for the rehabilitation process. But for the sake of this video and for my expertise, I want to think that the ACL has a lot more implications to the rehabilitation process than the LCL. But it is a factor that we need to consider in terms of the lengthening process of the rehabilitation potentially. So we can infer the type of surgery that he had. Perfect. Now we need to dig a little bit deeper on the Chiefs medical staff. You think I might be joking when I put this picture up for the Chiefs medical staff, but this is actually the person that Patrick Mahomes has been working with for plenty of years. No, not Meghan Trainor, but the other person in the State Farm commercial, the actual athletic trainer. This is Julie Freimeyer. She's an assistant athletic trainer as well as a physical therapist for the Kansas City Chiefs and has been there since 2018. It has also been shown that she has a strong connection with Patrick Mahomes over the years, specifically getting accredited by Mahomes himself for helping him through the ankle sprain that he had in the 2022 season during the playoffs that made him play in the Super Bowl. Recovering from an ankle sprain in only a few weeks to go play in one of the biggest games of the season is a huge feat for both Mahomes and Freimeyer. Now, this duo that has been shown to have quick and effective rehabilitation through this ankle sprain is also in the ACL rehab that we have right now, as the AP reports that she is the leading athletic trainer for his rehabilitation. Although Freimeyer is leading it, we also should check out the head athletic trainer for the Kansas City Chiefs as well. This is Rick Bertholder. He has been with the Kansas City Chiefs since 2013, and he has been recently accredited for the aggressive and successful rehabilitation plans for both Nick Bolton and Isaiah Pacheco in 2023. Before his time at the Kansas City Chiefs, however, he was also at the Philadelphia Eagles. There, he developed an aggressive 7-week rehabilitation program for wide receiver Terrell Owens in 2004, who sustained an injury and had to get ankle surgery, but was able to make it to the Super Bowl. Does it remind you of someone a little bit? These aggressive but effective and fast rehabilitation strategies might have started in Pittsburgh while he was working with the Steelers from 1993 to 1998. The reason why I say that is because of the story of Rod Woodson. In the opening weekend of the 1995 season, Rod Woodson would tear his ACL trying to tackle Barry Sanders on a play.
Rod Woodson, he got hurt on this play, but not bad. He's playing the funnel, turning Barry, making Barry turn in, and right there he got tripped up a little bit, but we believe he's all right.
But what was amazing here was the recovery process throughout this season. The Steelers training staff were able to conduct a rehabilitation program for Woodson, and he was able to play in the Super Bowl that same season. This marks the first ever time an NFL player has come back from an ACL injury within the same season. September, October, November, December, January, February. That's a 6-month recovery from an ACL surgery in 1995, and Burkholder was part of that. And it also proved to be a success, as Rod Woodson continued his very impressive career, becoming a Hall of Famer. He was a Hall of Famer, right? Yeah. But yeah, Woodson was able to continue his very successful career years after the ACL injury. So it sounds like everything is working out well for Mahome as of right now. He has the best type of surgery for his situation. The Chiefs medical staff seems amazing and they work well with Patrick Mahomes previously. But let's look at some of the previous ACL injuries recently. And what no better to look at previous Kansas City Chiefs players. So I pulled all of the ACL injuries that the Chiefs had since 2022, starting with Najee Johnson, who tore his ACL during training camp on July 30th, 2023. Months later, in May 2024, he reported being about 90% healthy, and then a few months later, in June 2024, he was medically cleared to join the team once again, putting his recovery time at about 10 months. The next Chief that tore their ACL was Charles Omenihu. On January 28th, 2024, he tore his ACL in the AFC Championship game. And about 10 months later, he started his 3-week IR activation window, and a few weeks after that, he played in his first game back, putting his recovery time as well about 10 months. Next is Jordy Fortson, who tore both his ACL and meniscus on October 27th, 2024, but by the end of the 2024 season, he became a free agent and wasn't picked up by anybody else. So it doesn't leave as much public information for us to know when he actually fully recovered. However, on July 30th, 2025, he tweeted a claim that he was fully healthy and ready to go, but that could have been something that he was just saying publicly to try to get an invitation to somebody's training camp. Regardless, it puts his recovery time at about 9 or 10 months. The next one is Jared Wiley, who tore his ACL in a team practice in November of 2024, but in August of 2025, he returned to training camp, putting his recovery time at 9 months. And finally, Omar Norman Lott tore his ACL against the Raiders on October 20th, 2025. What's interesting is that he didn't participate at all in the OTAs in late May, early June. However, he is expected in August of 2026, and a few days from now, to return to training camp. However, not much has been said on his actual expected return. If that is true though, it would put him at about 9 months. So all of these ACL injuries that the Chiefs have incurred since 2022 is averaging about 10 months for the recovery from the medical staff and just the Chiefs organization as a whole. But what about Mahomes? He tore his ACL on December 14th, 2025. In January, he said that he was on track on making good marks on his rehabilitation. In March, he was posting a video showing him dropping back and looking pretty good on his leg. And in May, it was reported that he was participating, albeit at a limited fashion, at OTAs. And as we said earlier in this video, today he got officially cleared to return to play, leading into this year's training camp. Now that puts his recovery at about 8 months, so a little bit less than all the others recently, but a lot more time given than like the Rod Woodsons of the world, which if it's any indication just from the amount of people that we saw in a limited faction for the Chiefs organization, very few and far in between. But when you expand it out a little bit, in September, week 1, start of the year, they open up to a Monday night football game against the Broncos. At that point, that would put Mahomes' recovery time at 9 months. And the Chiefs also have an early bye. They have a week 5 bye that would put his recovery time to 10 months, making it even safer. Now, the fact that they signed Justin Fields as a backup quarterback And with this bye coming up really fast, I wonder if we will see Mahomes or Fields for the first 4 weeks of the regular season. Is Mahomes going to be completely fine and ready to go? Or does he need more time? The worst thing that can happen is that he pushes himself too hard to begin and re-injures himself. But I just laid everything out for you guys. I want to hear your guys' opinion. What do you think? Do you think he's going to be great? Do you think he's going to be fine? Do you think he's going to be fully a participant in training camp and start week 1? Or is it going to be a little more laid back, limited fashion? We're going to get you sorted and working out slowly and surely. Maybe have Justin Fields start the first couple of games before Mahomes coming in after about 10 months of full recovery. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you, and see you next time.